day with you.
Hi, I'm Mark Cunningham with our CEO Justin Owen for another episode of Beacon Weekly. Justin and I both got back from New York yesterday, from New York City. We went to the Atlas Freedom Awards, which is an international awards ceremony. So Justin, tell us why we were there and kind of we were nominated for something. So kind of explain what happened last week.
So Atlas is an international network of think tanks, hundreds of think tanks all across the world, and they put on this annual award for what they think is the best example of a project to advance freedom and free enterprise in that particular country or state. We were up against 5 other think tanks. It was a great opportunity for us to showcase the work we had done, particularly around repealing the Hall income tax. So that's what we were a finalist for. All the finalists received $25,000 checks, which is a great thing to walk away with. Unfortunately, we didn't win. We came close, I think, but the winner was Mexico. The think tank there actually implemented an anti-corruption law where now, like we expect in the United States, I think we've become accustomed to this, now Mexican officials have to disclose their income, do conflict of interest checks and things like that in order to weed out corruption. They got something like 600,000 signatures to put that on the ballot, which was 4 times what they needed to get. So that would have been my vote, frankly. I thought that they did a pretty good job with that. So I'm proud of them. But it was still an honor to be on stage and to be recognized in front of hundreds of people from across the country and across the world, actually, for this award.
Yeah, it's an impressive group, right? Because you're not talking about just free market think tanks in America. You're talking about basically any think tank in the whole world that has achieved something that's advanced liberty. So, I mean, again, who were the other people that we went against? There's somebody in Mexico.
Ghana, Mexico, Canada. There were a think tank in Brazil that puts
on
a massive annual conference. In Georgia, the state, not the country.
Yeah, correct, that's right.
Our fellow State Policy Network think tank, they've done a great job on criminal justice there. So it really was a fantastic group of think tanks that have put on some good stuff. I got to be on a panel with all of the different leaders. All 6 of us talked about our projects and what it meant, and it's pretty impressive to see what's happening across the world.
And it was cool too, because at the ceremony we heard from Daniel Hanum. I mean, and he was excellent, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he's a member of the British, of the EU Parliament. And was one of the leading proponents of Brexit, and so he really actually worked himself out of a job because he will no longer be representing Britain in the EU. And so he's a fascinating guy, had a really great story to tell, and it was just impressive to see all of this fight for freedom, and that we're actually, despite the headlines, we're actually accomplishing some great things across the world.
And hopefully we'll be back there at some other time.
That's right.
The Hall tax is a great repeal, but yeah, we're hoping that with something we do in the next couple of years, we'll be back there. So let's turn to something a little more fun. Today is the start of college basketball season.
Yeah.
I know that you've forgotten about football for a couple of weeks now with Tennessee struggling. Kentucky starts against Utah.
Until we get a new coach.
Yeah, that's right. And you're a Kentucky basketball fan.
That's right. I'm one of those strange. I grew up in Northwest Tennessee, so I wound up being a Tennessee football fan and Kentucky basketball fan because Tennessee basketball was just terrible when I was growing up, and I actually got a chance to root for a good team in Kentucky.
And it's continued to be terrible since you.
That's true.
But they play Utah Valley night. So do you have high expectations for Kentucky this year? Do you think it could be another national championship?
I do. I think it's going to be a good year, especially with Pitino and all the troubles that are happening in Louisville. I think that gives us a little bit of an edge and an opportunity to come back. And it's been a couple years since we won the national title and cut down the net. So hopefully this will be the year.
Does that give you a little bit of people keep talking about how Calipari's so corrupt, and to see Pitino be the one that go down, it gives you some I told you so. Maybe Calipari's not as bad of a guy as some of the other people.
It's tough. I don't think Calipari has to actually be corrupt in order to put a winning basketball team on the court. I'm a little saddened by Pitino, even though Louisville's a rivalry of sorts. I was always a fan. I literally remember the day that he left Kentucky to go to the Boston Celtics and how sad I was about that. So I still like the guy. We'll see how things turn out in this pretty big scandal, but I think it does give us some justice that Calipari can put a good team on the court without being corrupt.
That's right. So we look forward to basketball season, and we look forward to talking to you next week. So thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks for tuning in.